Have you ever noticed that you're not just tired, you're wired and tired? Like your body can't seem to relax once you finally sit down? If you're in the midlife phase, caring for everyone, trying to juggle your job, your family, maybe aging parents or grandkids, and still trying to be strong, then most likely your nervous system is stuck in overdrive. Today, we're exploring a surprisingly powerful tool that most women tend to overlook. It's your sense of smell. We talk about how scent bypasses overthinking, speaks directly to the limbic brain, and can help regulate emotional overwhelm, stress, and even habit patterns. My guest, Jennifer Pressimone, is a clinical aromatherapist and holistic health educator with over 2 decades of experience. She's the creator of the Scent Map method and blends neuroscience with personalized aromatherapy to support emotional regulation and mental clarity in a practical way. Welcome to episode 154 of the Feel Light Mind and Body podcast. Burned out in midlife? A nervous system tool you haven't tried. If we're just meeting, I'm Clarenda Price, former registered nurse and a certified life and weight loss coach. I help high-achieving women reduce stress, reset their nervous system, and create sustainable health and weight loss without extremes so that they can feel lighter in their mind and body. Okay, let's dive in. Thank you, Jennifer, for being here today. I'm excited to have you here and really curious at what you do and how you help people. So just feel free to share whatever you would like.
Thank you so much, Clarenda, for having me. I am so excited always to talk about one of my favorite passions. I'm a clinical aromatherapist and holistic health educator. And, my specialty is helping people address the emotions that are behind their physical health challenges using personalized holistic aromatherapy blends. So, my big specialty is really helping you determine and identify what's going on an emotional level that's contributing. And then, how do we release that? How do we recalibrate that using scent therapy? So that you can release, the anxiety, the fear, the emotional overwhelm, the stresses that just consume you in daily life.
That's fascinating. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on. I'm like, oh, this is a nice add-in to support my ladies, the listeners that I have and my clients as well. So what do you find right now that most people are coming to you for? Like, what is the main problem, or they're looking for something? Just what is the common denominator that you're noticing?
The majority of my clients right now are midlife and really going through the sandwich phase, the emotional overwhelm of really moving into this phase of midlife, but then also caring for parents, taking care of children
Yes.
or family, and being in this sandwiched role of still doing everything, being overwhelmed by responsibility, duty, obligations, and feeling guilty
Mhm.
because as we move, and me personally moving into this midlife phase, I want to take time to take care of myself, but I want to do that
Yes.
without guilt. And because many of us and my clients too, and maybe your clients, have been people pleasers. We say yes to everything. We do
Mhm.
all the things. We try to be super women and get as much done and multitask as much as possible. But then we hit this point of, wow, I'm exhausted. I'm burned out. I'm
Yes.
overwhelmed. I'm losing myself. I don't even know who I am anymore. I don't remember how to have
Mhm.
fun, but how do I make this shift? Because the more I try to step into myself, people are really getting frustrated and trying to pull me in more. So it's what I'm
Mhm.
calling the sandwiched overwhelm between taking care of kids, taking care of parents, but also kind of leaving who you were to become who you're supposed to be today, and do that
Right.
feeling like I love myself. I love myself enough to set these boundaries and to do these things, and I should be able to do these without guilt. But there's a fear of uncertainty, of upsetting people, which kind of weighs more heavily on our heart. And so just this struggle with identity and overwhelm, and who we have to, you can't be the same person in the next 10 years that you've been for the last 10 years, and that
Exactly.
shift is different. It's a place we've never
Mhm.
been before, and so that's the biggest struggle. It's a lot, but it's
Yes.
all in the same basket.
Yes, so many women, like, we're feeling overwhelmed sometimes with thinking we should be doing this or should be doing that and trying to show up for everyone and yet still take care of ourselves. There's that struggle. There's the should, which brings on more judgment, which just really decreases our vibe and our life satisfaction. So, one thing that my ladies, there's a couple of things I want you to know. They love the brain, they love learning about the brain, a lot of them. And so feel free to use words like the amygdala, hippocampus, hypothalamus, prefrontal. They've heard me say those before, if that relates, which I think it will. And also, they tend to be drawn to self care. Like, they're drawn to things of self care. They recognize they need self care, but sometimes the self care they're seeking is the easiest kind, right? At the end of a hard day or at the end of a hard week, they think, and I include myself in that as well, we can think that, oh, this is really just giving myself a break. This is a reward for the end of the week. And so that piece of cheesecake or those 2 glasses of wine go down, or just binge watching or scrolling, the doom scrolling. And it just gives a distraction, and it might give a little dopamine hit, but it doesn't last. So I'll be curious too at, I know that essential oils would be in the true self care category. So feel free to talk about that as well. So I just kind of wanted to give you a couple of things to think about, and then you go from there.
A holistic aromatherapy fits into all of that so perfectly, because our sense of smell is our only sense that bypasses our rationale, our logic region. So when we tend to overthink and overanalyze and get bogged down in all of the details, scent just goes behind that. It's like a VIP, and it accesses our memories, our emotions, and it accesses our truths before you can
Mm.
even snap your fingers. And it's been shown scientifically, in less than a third of a blink, scent
Wow.
activates
Can you think of someone you've worked with that that's happened?
all the
An incident
time. I
too.
mean, when I'm working with my clients and creating custom blends, as soon as you smell a scent, I have a
Mm-hmm.
process. I have a particular method, my scent map method, that I walk people through, where we do access that. And so when you are taking in a scent, say that you grab a scent and you smell that in, the first thing you want to do is, do you like it? Do you not like it? And even though there's a little bit of judgment there, it's a layer just to say, do you like it or not? Ooh, because we're so drawn to going, ooh, I love that, or ooh, I don't. And so it's going to be an
Right.
instant response. So I usually don't have to even ask that. But then it's, how does it make you feel? And when we go into that, it's provoking something within us, and it's the way that our limbic system works. And for your clients that love the brain, when you take in a scent and you smell a scent, it goes in through your nose, which your nose is your external brain. It is your brain on the outside. And so when that scent goes in, it goes to your olfactory bulb. And the olfactory bulb is what identifies, ooh, there's a scent coming in. Let me grab the molecules. And the most amazing thing, that happens even if you cannot smell. Even if your sense of
Mm.
smell is decreased, if you've had a lot of chronic infections or sinus congestions or other things that have contributed, even if you can't smell, the scent molecules go in, hit that identification center, and then goes to the brain. The brain takes this information and it processes it through the amygdala, the hippocampus, the hypothalamus, and it sends
Mm-hmm.
it down our vagus nerve to our brain, or to our gut. And so when we talk
Mm.
about gut brain, we have a nerve that connects that. And so
So your
we,
nervous system,
the
whether
nervous
it's going,
system.
so the parasympathetic would be activated, but also could it be that the sympathetic would be activated if
Yeah.
it was,
It works as a
I,
nervous
I make
system
a,
modulator. And so we're actually
okay.
regulating. This is how we regulate the nervous system with our gut brain connection, and scent plays that role. And so when it goes in quicker than you snap, this scent comes in, we assess it, it gets
Mm-hmm.
sent down to the gut to take action. So that's why lavender typically relaxes, and a sweet orange or a lemon, a citrus oil per se, could elevate and lift you up.
Right.
Now, there is some caveats that we won't get too deep into, but for those who, are in extreme exhaustion and adrenal exhaustion where the system is kind of flipped, lavender could stimulate you and lemon could relax you. That might be a conversation for another day, but
So would that be if they're sympathetic, if they were stuck in the sympathetic, like that
yes.
button was turned on?
Yeah, it
It's interesting.
keeps being pinged, and we need to wait. We have to modulate. We have to shift out of that. That's where scent is so powerful, to go in and be the tool that you use to say,
Mm-hmm.
oof, okay, get your finger off the button. Let's calm down. Let's balance. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not a calm or energize, it's a both, because there's
Mm-hmm.
certain things in the body that need to energize while other things need to calm and relax. And so when you're bringing in that scent, it's activating all of these things in the brain. And the way that I walk people through it is we're following your limbic system, and your limbic system, which we call the old brain.
Mm-hmm.
When that gets activated, your amygdala is your fear center or your
Mm-hmm.
courage center.
Mm-hmm.
So when
Mm-hmm.
the amygdala keeps, when we stay in a fear situation, the amygdala, you keep your finger on the button. Scent can help you release that, and we can start shifting from fear into courage. So it's going to activate our emotions.
Okay. So what would be the best one if someone felt like their sympathetic was stuck on, but yet they were reacting to lavender? What would be another one you would suggest?
So we want to lean into that and say, how are you responding to lavender? If lavender is like, oof, no way, lavender.
Mm-hmm.
So first, I need to give a little disclaimer. I think all essential oils are like people. They all have their own personality, and they bring out certain characteristics within us. And so for
Mm-hmm.
lavender, when I hear, as a clinical aromatherapist and practitioner doing this for 23 years, I just recognize patterns. So the pattern I see with not liking lavender tells me you have so much going on. The thought of even having balance or harmony in your life, you can't even fathom that thought. It is so distant from you. So
Mm-hmm.
let's find another oil to maybe ground you a little bit more, but open you up so that you don't feel as overwhelmed. And there's two oils in particular, not a flower, but they're trees that help with that. And one is frankincense. And
Mm-hmm.
frankincense,
That's what I have right
oh
here.
my gosh. So frankincense is one of my number one oils to quench.
And it's empty. It's the one that's empty. But interestingly, it's the one I resisted at first. When I first smelled it, I was like, "Oh, that's strong. Ooh, I don't like that." So this is I'm going on a tangent, but we'll circle back. So my question was, I used my critical thinking. I learned what this was all good for, and then once I realized that, I was open to it, and I thought that was strange. So my initial response was just, "Ooh, that kind of stinks," or "That's strong." And then after I heard all the benefits, then I put it in my diffuser, and then I started to really and I love it
Then
now.
you made
Love it.
friends.
Yeah, but I have no idea why.
Yeah, so scent activates, it taps into, and the reason So your sense of smell is the only sense, like I said, that bypasses your logic region. That's your thalamus. It goes around that.
Yes.
It goes into the back door through all of your other processes, through the hippocampus, through the amygdala, through the hippocampus to activate our emotions and our memories, but also to regulate the nervous system, that whole connection there. And so, what happens is oftentimes, especially as we become older, we have conditioned behaviors that keep us in a survival mode. We have a certain way that, listen, I am X amount years old and I've worked my whole
Mm-hmm.
life to hide all of these emotions, to bury them, to hide them, to not deal with them. I don't want to deal with the pain. I just want to get, I'm over it, but you're really not. They
Yeah.
just get buried. And
Right.
so scent is like your lie detector test. It's going in and it's going to say, I see you. I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
I know you. Here's the truth. And our first instinct or response is to go, no, nope.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
frankincense is my
Protective.
very protective. It's like your protective wall goes up, right? Because this is
Mm-hmm.
a conditioned instinct that you have with frankincense in particular. So it is kind of like lavender's your everything oil, but so is frankincense. I mean, I love frankincense for so many reasons. Like you said, your mind kicks in to say, I'm analyzing it. Yes, but we're going to go in because where healing actually happens is when we get your emotional side on board and we get them to operate and integrate and work together. So, frankincense, it connects you. So, when you feel disconnected from so many things, and when I have people smell oils and they're not really reacting or feeling anything, when I get
Mm-hmm.
to frankincense, it's usually in the fifth to seventh position of me having you smell oils during a scent therapy session. Usually, people become very open because it's connecting you to yourself, but it's
Mm-hmm.
also really tapping into and quieting the fear center. That's why it's my number one oil for the amygdala, because
Mm.
it's a fear buster. It quenches that fear, and we hold fear
Wow.
in the kidneys, so there's a connection with kidney health and the amygdala. So when there's fear going on, there's two components that you're going to want to work on. We know with kidneys,
Mm-hmm.
hydration and watching the blood sugar and the minerals and all the things that you teach.
Mm-hmm.
But from the emotional side, we want to dive into, okay, where is that emotion hiding? And so when you
Interesting.
smell, what I would ask you to do, if you smelt frankincense at first and said, oh, I don't like that, I'm then going to ask you, what's the first emotion that comes up? Not overthinking, first emotion. Give me your first emotion.
I just went back. I think I know, and this is so strange. So I'm curious. I'm going to message my first practitioner, who I actually ended up buying these from, but she did a treatment on me back in 2015. And I'm curious. I'm going to ask her, is this what you would have used in the diffuser? Because it was a very, it was a difficult time in my life, and I did have a lot of fear and unknown. It was kind of leading up to the divorce, and I have a feeling. I wonder if it's just me, like I just shut out because I was kind of in denial, maybe not wanting to accept what was
And
becoming
sometimes the
obvious.
pain and the hurt, it's that whole thing, like if you see somebody coming to hit you, you're going to flinch, right? Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
hurt yet,
Mm-hmm.
but you flinch because you know what's
Yes.
coming. So when it touches on something, it's almost like that protective defensive wall. It's a
I can see
flinch to
that.
go, oh my gosh, it's going to be painful. It's going to be painful. But here's the most beautiful thing, and I've done this for 23 years. I have worked with thousands and thousands and thousands of clients. It doesn't hurt as bad as you think. It's
Mm-hmm.
very gentle, and it does it in such a loving, compassionate way to put its arms around you and say, I love you enough that you can't stay here. You cannot let this pain own you. You cannot let this
Mm-hmm.
hurt own you. and keep you stuck, because if you do, your health ailments are going to stay on high alert. Your blood sugar is going to
Yes.
be wonky. Your weight's going to be all over the place. You're going to have brain
Hmm.
fog, and then you're going to stay in this state of overwhelm. So I love you, but
Yes.
you can't stay here. Smell me
Hmm.
again. And then
It's empowering.
it is empowering. And you smell
Yes.
it again. And then you're like, oh, all right. It wasn't as bad as I thought. And
Hmm.
then we work through, we make friends over time. And that's the power of the work that I do, is more on a personalized basis, where we view and we go through a few different scents, and then I custom blend something for you based on where you are now, because the power of personalization, cookie cutter approach is not going to get, it may get 5% of the people. It's really not going to get what you need right now.
Right.
And so, and what
Hmm.
you need right now is going to be different than what you need in a month or 2 or 3 from now. So we're like a
Right.
clock. Our emotions are like a clock. We should be experiencing them and moving through them. And using scent therapy with essential oils, not fragrance, not the synthetic scents, but the pure essential oils, it's what's going to connect and get into that amygdala to
Hmm.
say, I'm going to help you be at least 1% more courageous today than you were yesterday. And that
Right.
1% movement starts compounding until now maybe you're 51, 52, 60, 70%, where that old saying is, you're scared, but you do it anyway. Sometimes being
Hmm.
fearful, and it's paralyzing. So, how
Hmm.
do we get out of that
Absolutely.
paralysis into a movement state? Essential oils is a great tool. It's not a cure all, end all, be all, but it's a great
Hmm.
tool to integrate into your daily self care, so that you are having this
Hmm.
continuous movement and you're not staying stuck in your emotions.
Yes. So valuable. So valuable. So we have, just to complete this, and then I want to go on to a thought I have about willpower. But so the second, so you said lavender and then frankincense. And what would be your third?
The third oil would be eucalyptus. Now, eucalyptus
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
frankincense are both trees. They both have a camphorous scent to it, but what the camphor scent is doing is opening you up. So when you feel overwhelmed and like bogged down and like I can't even see outside, right? So when you're
Hmm.
in the situation, it's really harder. That's why we go to our friends to say, hey, help me. And we go to our coaches like you to say, help me. But
Hmm.
when we feel that,
Hmm.
we need some liberation, we need some freedom. And that's where the frankincense is very earthy and grounding and connecting.
Hmm.
The eucalyptus is going to take you a little bit outside. It's going to say, if you're more depressed, then I would do eucalyptus, right? Because we should be at balance. But when you're down here, we need something to pull us up. So that's where I would do a
Hmm.
eucalyptus with the citrus. But for somebody who's
Yes.
spastic and anxious and we need more, just plug me into the earth, that's where I would do
Hmm.
frankincense also with the citrus oil. So this is where
Okay.
learning the
Interesting.
different essential oils and learning their personality
Hmm.
can help you personalize it a little bit more to determine, do I do frankincense? Do I use eucalyptus? Do I use lemon or orange? You could also go off your scent, your nose, let your nose tell you. Do you like it or do you not like it?
Yes.
Your nose is not going to let you lie to
Hmm.
yourself.
So it seems contradictory in that, you're grounding with frankincense, but yet for me, I know the citrus elevates me. Would you use more of the frankincense and a little less when you were putting them together?
It depends on how
Do you
far
know what I
from
mean?
balance you are. So if you are
Right.
way spastic, I'm going to ground you more with a hint of citrus. But if you're just like right here, then I'm going to bring you up to here with a little bit of frankincense, and also the what the citrus does is it lifts us up. It's really
Hmm.
hard to take a step when you're not looking up. So just to put your chin up
Yes.
a little
Yeah.
bit so you can look forward, that's where we're bringing in the citrus. The amount that you are going to need is going to be dependent on how far from balance are you? How long has
Okay.
this been
Makes
going
sense.
on? There's some clients I see where I'm so completely wiped out, burned out, depressed. I'm in such a darkness, I can't even
Mm-hmm.
see the light. I'm not going to ground you too much because you're already on the surface. I need to lift you up, give you an
Mm-hmm.
anchor,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a couple drops
Mm-hmm.
in the diffuser, but then I might have 4 or 5 drops of a citrus oil in the diffuser to lift you up. And this is where not following a cookie cutter, but saying, who am I today? What do I need
Mm-hmm.
today? And how much of that do I need? Because if I wake up and say, I'm in a good mood, but I want to stay there, then I'm going to find some
Mm-hmm.
balance. But if I wake up and
Mm-hmm.
say, I'm
Mm-hmm.
just really depressed and down, I'm going to give myself more of a booster to pull me up.
Yes. Yes. So this could help as well. Thinking of my ladies for developing habits. Probably, if you can you associate certain scents, like if they wanted that energy, even just to smell, like the lemon or the citrus. Would that be something that would help? Because I know a lot of energy drinks they'll do lemon, and I love like squeezing my own fresh lemon to put in my green drink in the morning because just that smell, and I'll put it right up and I'll smell it like the real deal.
Yeah.
And not that the essential oils aren't, like, I know that's a concentrated form, but yeah, so if you start to associate that with a habit, would that also help, like part of that habit stacking?
Absolutely, because we use different things in life to help condition us, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
scent is a great conditioner, but in a good way to set a habit. So that's why in the mornings we take our deep breath, we read our affirmation statements, we give our gratitude, we say our prayers. When you add in scent, it drives it in deeper and helps it
Mm-hmm.
sustain longer. That is
Yes.
so powerful because so often we say things and we move on, but we don't anchor it into
Mm.
your cells believe everything you think, feel, say, and experience. And when you
Mm-hmm.
add scent
Mm-hmm.
to that, and we're bypassing that, and we're not just bypassing logic, we're bypassing judgment. We're going in and saying, self, I love you 100%, wholeheartedly, unconditionally. And when you smell lemon, it puts a smile on your
Mm-hmm.
face. And you smiling, you're recalibrating yourself to this energy without the fatigue, but with that affirmation statement. If your affirmation statement is, I am strong, I am resilient, I am enough, I see clearly
Mm-hmm.
my path, and we smell the lemon, it recalibrates that in to your cells, your tissues, your muscles, your
Mm-hmm.
ligaments. And it all of this recalibration, and when you do it throughout the daytime, so I like to do citrus in the morning, I like to do flowers maybe around lunchtime because flowers are balancing. Now,
Mm-hmm.
usually by lunchtime, we've had a lot of stimulation. There's a lot of stress going on, and we're starting to get overexcited, getting overwhelmed because now we're at the halfway mark of, oh my gosh, I just did all these things, but oh my gosh, now I still have the rest of the day that I've got to finish these things. Your
Yes.
flower oils are real good to balance. And then when you are done recalibrating to who you are and being rooted, because we had our business hat on, our work hat on, but
Mm-hmm.
now we need to put our own hat on to say, wait, no, I'm myself right now. Let me ground in that. So your tree oils are really good in the evening. Now, I use
Mm-hmm.
spice oils like cinnamon to help. Cinnamon's one of my favorite oils, by the way. Just to give it a little shout out,
Mm.
it's like a hug in a bottle, but it's great for
Yeah.
blood sugar balance. So, anytime you're having anxiety,
Yes.
there tells me there's a protein and hydration deficiency that's throwing your blood sugar off. So, I do add in kind of like as a snack, your mid morning snack and your afternoon snack. I love your spice oils
Yeah.
during that time
Hmm.
to kind of give you a little bit of a boost, but then to give you enough energy to handle the things that you need to do without freaking out
And without the extra calories.
and without the
So
extra
yours, because
calories.
I love, like, I add cinnamon every day to, if I have oatmeal or in my yogurt, and so I'm like, oh, I could do that just as a snack. I love that.
But smelling it, remember,
So
it's using
you're
a
just
different
smelling it.
pathway, and we're going in to hit the
Yes.
emotional balancing pathway, the memory balancing
Hmm.
pathway. Because I can tell you, don't stress all day long, but that means nothing. If I teach you a skill, how to manage your stress, then you never stress. We could look at something as an opportunity, or we could look at it as a challenge and an obstacle. If we feel
Right.
in our power and empowered to, oh, this little thing came up, I can handle that. We smell an oil, we get energized, we tap into our strengths and our expertise, and we just handle it. It's not stressful. It's when we don't feel equipped or we feel out of sync with ourselves, that's something we look at it as stress. And that's where I bring cinnamon in on a regular basis, just to regulate that, so you can stay in a, oh, it's just a thing I have to do, versus, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out, I'm stressed out.
Yes. Yes. I had someone visit once and they were looking at all of mine, which I don't use as well as I should. There's my shoulding on myself. But they said, are you sure that even works? Or is that just a placebo? Is that just a placebo effect? Like you're like, oh, this is supposed to do this, so therefore it's that. And I'm like, well, I don't think so. But if it is, it's working. Any thoughts on that? Have you heard that before?
Yeah, and I mean, it's a common thing. I think a lot of people that are not familiar, listen, our sense of smell is not new. It is
Mm-hmm.
underutilized when it comes to health, because we use it to sense danger. Is there smoke? Is there a
Mm-hmm.
fire? But we also use it to sense food. Is this food good? Do I like it?
Yeah.
But we also use our sense of smell to determine how strong is your brain. There is
Mm-hmm.
science behind it. And so people think it's a placebo, but this is where we have science. We have thousands and thousands of years of history, from the ancient, Greek and Roman physicians to current science, proving today that your sense of smell we're using to indicate, because as we age, our sense of smell declines. Every time you get
Yes.
chronic sinus infections and respiratory infections, it takes a little bit of a hit. Anytime we have colds and
Right.
flus, or you are smelling synthetic perfumes and colognes and fragrances,
Mm-hmm.
synthetic chemicals from your cleaning products, you're singeing the linings of your nose and
Mm.
affecting your olfactory bulb. And so your sense of
Yes.
smell decreases, and what we're seeing is increase in feeling lonely, abandoned, and anxiety, and a decrease in cognitive performance. You think slower, you make decisions slower, you have trouble problem solving and putting two and two together, wrapping your head around something, tip of the tongue syndrome. And so doing olfaction exercises with your essential oils, so smelling it and making it a part of your daily routine, it's an automatic brain exercise, and it
Mm.
actually
Like it
strengthens parts of your
resets.
brain more than doing a word search.
Interesting. When I have my lilacs, when they are blooming, I automatically, like, I can just close my eyes and I'm back on the farm. Or the old fashioned roses. I'd go for a walk with a friend. I have to stop and smell them because it brings back those warm feelings, right? And so I'm assuming that's part of the memory going into the limbic and all of that too. So that's one thing I was thought you may elaborate a bit on. But to add to that, I think of my dad. So when my dad was in the nursing home with dementia, and it was his later stages, we would go and have a difficult time trying to get him to open his eyes. We knew he was there, but he was just like zoned out. And so one day I was like, because I would drive 2 hours to see him, and sometimes I didn't know if I might get him to open his eyes and I might not. So I stopped. He loved pizza. So I stopped and got a hot pizza and I put that slice right underneath his nose. And it was so funny because he sat right up and, his words weren't plentiful at that point. He sat right up, he opened his eyes and he went, pizza. It was priceless. And he ate it. So that was obviously like that bypassed something, right? To
Right.
go
It goes,
directly to tell
that's
me that.
perfect example of bypassing your logic region. So when there are no words,
Mm,
when we can't put two and two together and we can't rationalize, right, our rationalization center, when none of that can happen, which does happen in the progression of dementia and Alzheimer's, we go behind that straight to the emotions and the memory part of it. And
Mm,
that is why your dad came out and goes pizza. And because there was that memory association with
mhm.
that. And for me, with my mom, she passed away a year ago with dementia. And when she would be in her agitation state or when things were a little chaotic, I could have her smell an oil, and cinnamon was her favorite. Oh, yeah, that's cinnamon. I
Mm.
like it. I could bring her back to me in an instant.
That is so good. So special, right? To think that something that simple. I can imagine that with my mom because my mom now has dementia. Right now I don't need to use that, but in the future I may need to. So that's thank you for that. That's good.
And actually, you want to start using it now because you're making that memory association. And the
Oh.
sooner you can do it, the better the outcomes. And this is something that I
Mhm.
find. And I spoke and I talked with the World Alzheimer's Summit last year. And that was a big revelation is the sooner you can do
Mm.
behaviors and you can be in proactive mode, the better the
Yeah.
outcomes you're going to get when you're in reactive mode.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Good to know. I can see what I'm going to be adding to her Mother's Day gift. I probably won't be able to leave it with her though, because who knows what she'll do with it. But would cinnamon, would it hurt if she did put it on her skin or anything though? Just was there anything I would need to know about that? Like, would it
Yes.
burn or
So cinnamon
because it'd be
works
pretty
great.
potent?
Like you want to hold the bottle and have her smell it, but you want to be
Mm,
careful that she doesn't take it and try to drink it.
yes.
Cinnamon, not all essential oils are skin irritants, but cinnamon is a skin irritant. So you would not want to put that
Hmm.
directly on the skin. You
That's what
would
I was
want to
thinking.
dilute it in a carrier oil and have it in a roll on. You could also diffuse just a drop of cinnamon. But really, what would be great right now is to have her smell a couple different scents. Does she like lemon? Does she like
Hmm.
orange? Does she like lavender
Hmm.
or geranium? Like I would pick two from each scent category of like a fruit, a flower, an herb like marjoram and oregano, a spice like cinnamon and ginger, and then a tree like frankincense and eucalyptus or pine, and see which
Hmm.
ones does she resonate to, because that's going to serve
Right.
as your anchor. And an anchor scent is
Hmm.
one that can always bring you back. Like cinnamon wasn't just one she loved. She loved it in many blended with other things, but it was an anchor oil for her when I needed to
Mm.
bring her back to me, especially with
Hmm.
dementia and Alzheimer's. They go through different phases, and some of them are highly agitated and highly in a paranoia state. There's different phases. So when you need to bring them back quickly, it's nice if you can know what the anchor scent in is. And if they're already in that, it's okay. Just have them smell an oil that you have on hand and see what their response is, because you'll know their eyes will flutter, there'll be a smile, and they'll be saying all kind of things, but then they'll look right at you
Hmm.
and say something. When you can bring them back in the moment, then you're going to know, oh, okay. So smelling it is great,
Yes.
diffusing it is great, having it in a roll-on or a nasal inhaler, getting a little nasal inhaler where they can just
Hmm.
smell it. That
Yes.
would be a non-irritating way to use oils such as cinnamon.
Okay. And for my listeners as well, what would be the oil that you would recommend if you were to do a blend?
To blend with cinnamon.
Yeah, or with anything. Is there one that you would recommend? Like, is it olive oil? Is it
For a
what kind of
carrier
oil
oil,
do you
olive
recommend?
oil is great because everybody has it in there. I do like a sunflower oil because it's thinner, it's lighter. Jojoba is a
Hmm.
great one, or
Okay.
hemp seed oil, because the molecular structure is identical to the body. So for those with frail skin or skin sensitivity, then I like to use those thinner oils so it's not so heavy for them and that it
Mm,
will
I see.
absorb easier.
Nice. That's a good tip too. Tomorrow, actually, the day after this airs, we are going to be kicking off the 8-day free noise detox. So, are there like 3 oils that you would recommend that would be great to have as a blend to calm the nervous system?
Oh, yes. Oh, my favorite. I love putting blends together. So for that, I would really look at supporting and nurturing and nourishing the nervous system. Cinnamon, I would use, and I like cinnamon leaf over cinnamon bark. Cinnamon bark can be too aggressive, and especially when you're working on the nervous system, I like to use cinnamon
Okay.
leaf. Cinnamon is like a hug in a bottle. And when we are trying to do something, it's really nice to do it while you're being hugged. And so, because it's balancing not only blood sugar, it's balancing like thyroid and adrenal and that connection with, the hormones, and the blood sugar. And so, cinnamon, I would have in the blend. And I would do this blend in equal parts, meaning like 2 drops each in a diffuser. The second oil would
Okay.
be Roman chamomile. And Roman chamomile is known as the caretaker. When you need somebody just to
Okay.
take care of you and just tell you everything's going to be okay. Just relax, just calm down. Roman chamomile is so good for that. It's really good to quiet mental chatter that's going to get in the way, the noise in your head. I like that. And then the third oil would be bergamot. And bergamot is really good. It's a pick me up oil, but it picks you up, which allows your nervous system to calm down. And I also use bergamot anytime there's addictive personalities. And so what I find is
Okay.
people that that are overachievers and multitaskers, there's this addiction to like, oh, I have to do all the things and I can't stop until I finish something. The perfectionist in us. Bergamo is really
Yeah.
good just to say, you know what, here's enough energy that you're going to get everything done that you need to get done. Calm down. And it's such a wonderful nervous system regulator. So
I need that.
I love cinnamon for the hug, the chamomile for the caretaking, the bergamot for the pick me up, but also to recalibrate that addictive personality frequency. And when you talk about
Mm.
setting good habits, whew, those three would be really good to honor your boundaries, set that and recalibrate your nervous system to be able just to say, okay, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to nurture and nourish myself from a place of love, not from a place of feeling guilty
Mm.
about anything else.
Yeah, I love that. I would actually, I know this is an 8-day noise detox, which I'll talk about in a minute, but for the Feel Light Mind and Body program, like my signature course, I think that would be great because if we're stuck in the sympathetic, we're not going to lose weight. Our body will not release the weight. And if we could get us to that point at various times in the day, or have it just, like you say, in the background, I have my diffuser going now, which is lemongrass. We haven't talked about lemongrass, but that's one of my favorites. I love it. So I think that's wonderful. Yeah, it's interesting. When I reached out to you, I'm like, oh, that would really go with what's coming up for me as well.
Love
So to
it.
have that, yeah. So I'll have to give you the link to share as well on that detox. And if you want to contribute or add anything to it too, it's not too late. I could any
I
thoughts
would
of
love to
how
add an
this
oil
could work?
in maybe for each day to help you connect in a different way with yourself, because just like
Okay.
in life you can use the one tool to help you, but sometimes you miss a different perspective. And what I love about the oils is it can help you see yourself from a different perspective. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the more we learn about ourselves and we go on this journey of self discovery with open arms, the more we can love ourselves, the more we realize, wow, I am
Mm-hmm.
pretty amazing. I am enough.
Yeah.
I am worthy. I do have the things that I need. And the weight that I'm carrying, whether it's an emotional weight on your shoulders or the physical weight that can't leave because we're just stuck in this rut, it just
Mm-hmm.
helps us to say no more. I do have the
Okay.
ability to release what no longer serves me. And so I would love to help you add in maybe an oil for a different perspective each day.
Yeah. Because the whole point is, yes, loving ourselves and taking care of ourselves. But when we do that, we can show up so much better for everyone else. Like from a really true, authentic space instead of the people pleasing or the faking, putting on a mask, like everything's okay.
Yeah.
I'm good. I can do this. Like I'm the superwoman until our adrenals and everything start talking different, saying a different story to us, right? So I love this. And there's so many different ways to approach anything. Like there's this way and that way. And the way I look at it is I love being open and using all the tools and not always at the same time. But this tool might work for this time when I'm short on time. A deeper tool, something else might work in another area, whether we're tapping in through the emotional or the mental, like it all, our mind and body are so connected, right? That
And it's an
it's all the same,
integrative
just in
approach.
different ways.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I could see it being very supportive in so many areas. So thank you. Thank you so much. If there was one thing that you wanted to leave with my listeners, what would it be?
My favorite motto is you are stronger than what's holding you back.
Absolutely. We are stronger. We are so resilient, and we don't often give ourselves the credit for it. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing. I feel like you've given so many valuable tips for us to use and a taste of what I'm sure there's so much more. You're a wealth of knowledge and you have so much experience and training leading up to this. So I really appreciate your time showing up today. How and where can we reach out to you if anyone's wanting to follow up and learn more about you, or do you have any free resources? Just let us know. So my recording track continued, but Jennifer's cut out. So we're not going to leave you hanging. I reached out to her and said, what is it that you would like for me to share? And you're missing a little bit of the chit chat, but this is exactly what she wants to make sure you have as a takeaway. She said, you could reach me at aromaversity.com. I have a free class on demand that you can watch when it's best for you. I walk you through a grounding exercise at the beginning, then on a self-discovery using the scent map method. This makes it easy to start or stop and soak in the experience. I also asked her if she would be open to joining us on one of the Feel Light Mind and Body calls. She said absolutely, she would love to. So I think that will be fun, especially when we're in the module, when we're talking about feelings and allowing urges to be there instead of resisting them or avoiding them or white knuckling them. It's common to just want to bypass those feelings and say, just give me the reward, just give me the distraction. I'll have some more coffee with another muffin or cinnamon roll, or wine, please. Some cheese and crackers would be great. So I'm excited to add another tool to our toolbox. I'll add Jennifer's contact info to the show notes, as well as the Noise Detox link. You can click on both of these links and find out more about these free resources. Until next time, thanks for listening or watching. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Everyone matters. It helps us reach more women like you, as well as bring on amazing guests like Jennifer. I'm so glad our paths crossed and we got to meet a couple of years ago at an event in Miami, and we've stayed in contact since. Also, why not share this with someone that you think may be interested in this topic? They might see it and go, I'm curious. I'd like to know more. I wish for you a great week, and hopefully I'll see you on February 25th at the Noise Detox wrap-up session, where we'll integrate and share, optionally of course, what we have learned and what we want to do moving forward.